day 7 challenge of Bot Bros. Today we'll be learning error handling and debugging. Fix all the problems like a pro. So in today's lecture we'll be understanding different types of errors in Python, that is syntax, runtime, logical. Use try except block to handle exception gracefully. Debug Python code using print, logging or the PDB debugger. Fix the and optimize Python scripts by identifying and resolving bugs. So without wasting any time, let's begin our day one. So in today's part one, we'll see what is errors in Python. Before writing error-free code, you need to understand why error happens. Python has three types of errors. One is syntax error, runtime error, and logical error. Syntax error means that the code is written incorrectly. Example, missing colon, parenthesis, brackets, or anything as such that is missing to the main code will give us the syntax error. Runtime error or the exception is that the code runs but it crashes. So dividing by 0 is a primary example of runtime error, which will give us a code but that will crash. Logical error means that the code runs but gives incorrect results. So for example, if it is an a plus b equation and the user or the developer puts at a minus b, then it is a logical error. So let's see an example of each of them. Let's create a new Python file and name it as day 7. Day 7. So here I'll show you one by one. Let's just say print hello. So if I run this, it'll say incomplete input error. This is a syntax error. So now if we resolve this and rerun it, it'll give us hello. So now let's go and learn what was the next error. That is runtime error. So runtime error means that a is equal to 10 divided by 0. If I run this, it'll say division by 0 invalid. So this here is a runtime error that you have seen. So if I just remove 0 and put 1 or any other integer for that matter, it'll just store the value a. And if I put 0 again, you can see it is a runtime error. So this here will give us runtime error. Now let's understand the next type of error, that is logical error. So for example, a equal to 10 plus 5 has to be our main program, and in print I'll say 10 minus 5 equal to 8. So if I run this, it shows us 10 minus 5 equal to 15. Actually, the code has to tell that it had to be 10 minus 5, but because the user or the programmer types the error, program wrong, then you can see this error. Now let's go to part 2 of today's lecture. So in part 2, handling errors with try except. This includes basic try except, handling multiple exceptions, and then using finally for cleanups. So what exactly is a try exception block? Try exception blocks states that you have a particular code that you have to try, and if it doesn't work or gives any error, it goes to the exception block. So now let's type a simple code to understand try catch block or try exception block. So try, here you can see this is a syntax error, incomplete input error. Let's just give it as x equal to int of hello. So now if I run this, it'll give us an error. And so to avoid any errors, we'll just put exception or just except value error. And then let's print whatever the error it says, invalid input. So now if I just close the brackets and run this, it'll show as an invalid input error. because here you can't convert any string to an integer and store it in a variable. So this here is the try except block. You can have multiple exceptions present. So for example, let me give try x equal to 10 divided by 0, and then in an except block I'll say division or 0 division error, and just print divide by 0 error. And then let's put another except stating that if other than this any other exception arises, except exception as e, and then just print f, that is formatted string unexpected error, that is e. And when I run this, it'll say it's a division by 0 error. So now by chance if I do any other errors or just give any other error, it says it was never closed. So other error just goes to the unexpected error line. If I run this, it'll just say divided by 0 error. Now we'll see what is the next one. That is finally for a cleanup. So we'll use finally to print the last line for the try catch block. So once you try, and if that doesn't work, it goes to except blocks. If none of the except blocks works, then where will it go? It go to a finally block. So now if I just say try x equal to 10 divided by 0, and then put an except block, or let's use the hello example. This will be easier for us to understand what is going on. And now I just put try except let's put 0 division error here because the exception is not the same. And then I'll just put finally print the error is unresolved. So what do you think happens when I run this? Will it run it, or will there be an error that arises? Let's check. The error, it says that invalid literal for the int. So yeah, this was try except. If you want to see how exactly a finally works, I have a written code for you that I can just paste and show you how exactly it works. So now if I run this, it'll show that file not found because I don't have anything as open data.txt. I've not created any file that is data.txt. An exception file not found. You'll print this and finally go and say cleaning up. So all the logs and errors that have been formed will be cleaned up in our finally. Now we have understood try except block and etc. Let's go to part 3, that is debugging techniques. Using print for quick debugs, using Python debugger, that is PDB, or using logging for error tracking. So these three is primarily what we'll be learning right now, and using print for quick debugging. So what we exactly do in print is we'll define a function saying multiple a comma b, and then just put a print statement that will work like a debugger for us, stating f inputs as a equal to a, and then b comma b equal to b. Now let's close this and say return a into b to the caller. So I'll just put a caller here stating print mult of 10 comma hello. So what do you think might be the error, or the thing that can arise, that is inputs a equal to 10 and b equal to hello. So this will multiply hello 10 times, so that the error that arise here is that it is not an integer multiplication but instead a string multiplication 10 times. That is possible only in Python. So this here can be considered as type error. So now let's go and understand what is a PDB. PDB is nothing but a Python debugger. In Python debugger, what we'll do is just understand, we'll define a divide a comma b, and then in the function, let's put pdb dot set trace. This will set all the traces and make sure what values we enter will be tracked. And the debugging starts with this pdb dot set trace. So now let's return a divided by b, and then in the caller, what we'll do is just print divide any random values that we can give, for example 10 comma 2, and then if we run this, it'll say that div is not an error. So I'll give you 3 seconds to understand what exactly the error here is. So what the error actually was, we had not imported any pdb. So what, we'll just import a pdb now and rerun this code. We will get our desired value pdb. PDB is nothing but Python debugger. So here it'll check user shell app data local temp kernel. Here it'll go, and then this will help us to search the history of the PDB, and we have multiple comments. For example, N to move into next line, P comma variable name will give the print of the variable value, and C will continue execution. So let's just put C and check what happens. 5. So 10 divided by 5 with the PDB will give us the result. So now if we rerun this and I put N, it go for a new line. And then if I just put P comma, there is no variable. Let's check for A what the value is, 10. And then P for B, it is 2. And now if I have to run this, just press C, that is continue. Here you have 5. So this is all about the PDB or the Python debugger. Now let's go to the next topic, that is using logging for error tracking. So logging is the best method that you can follow to track any errors that has arisen during the program. So logging contains most of the errors that has been present, and when you're coding is large amount of data, and then it is very huge. For us to debug, it will be very difficult. So hence we'll use logging for error track. So we'll just import logging, and then let's put logging dot basic config, and then put file name equal to error dot log, and then logging, or just put level equal to logging dot error, and then let's put a try block x equal to 10 divided by 0, and then except 0 division error SE, and then logging dot error, let's just put F, that is formatted output error occurred, and then let's put E, and we'll close this, and we'll ensure that this here is the basic logging config. So what this does is, this here will config the error log message, and here in error log we'll store all the logging issues into this file, and this will help us reduce the amount of errors that we arise. So what exactly the error is? I'll give you 3 seconds to understand. It's a simple error that says level is equal to logging.error. If we rerun this, the value is stored in our error.log file. So to understand what exactly is happening here, we'll put a normal for loop for the error.log and we'll read what is the file that is present. If we run this, it'll say that division by 0 error, division by 0, division by 0. So this is the primary error that had been arising, and the error that arose didn't go to the exception as 0 and directly went to error.logs, and we here could read the error.logs. So now we have completed logging errors, and then the final part is raising custom exception. If you want to raise any own exceptions, we can just put a custom exception handler. We just put custom exception. So here what we'll do is we'll define set age, and then let's put some random value of age, and then let's open the function. If age is lesser than 0, then we'll put the raise value error. Age can't be negative, and then we return if that is the formatted string. Your age is age, and then we'll call the function by just print set age of -5. So now age can't be -1. So if we run this, it'll give us a ton of errors. So this lecture has been mostly error. So what is the value error? I'll give you 3 seconds to understand what exactly the error here is. As you see, this is our custom exception. Here you can see value error, that is age can't be negative. That is what exactly we had given here. We had raised a value error stating that the age can't be negative. If I just put 10 and rerun it, it'll just give you're 10 years old. But instead, if I give -5 and then run it, it'll give us the value error that we wanted to see. So now we have completed the chapter of errors and handling of errors. So now you can see the what is our hands-on challenge for the day. That is, define we have to see what exactly is the problem in this and see whether the type error or division 0 error or file not found error. You have to create a own program which contains all the types of errors and run it. So that is for the day. Thank you all.